FLOSSTUBE. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in South Jersey. My name is Debbie, and today is Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025, and this is FLOSSTUBE number 14, my November stitching update. How are we doing? Everybody good? It is a cold, rainy day here in New Jersey. But other than that, I guess it feels a little Christmas season-y. So you'll notice it's my November stitching update, and my FLOSSTUBE 13 was my September stitching update. Yes, there is a month missing. I'm really only about 2 weeks behind. I should have come to you mid-November with my October update. There really wasn't one, and you'll see why. So we're just skipping ahead to November, and most of my October stitching got moved to November, and I didn't even get all the November stitching done because I was not feeling good for several weeks, which is so not like me, and I'm not a good patient. I'm an impatient patient. I don't want to be sick. I don't like to be sick. I refuse to rest, but when it gets you, it gets you. So thank you to all who liked, subscribed, commented on my FLOSSTUBE 13. It humbles me every time, so thank you. And another special thanks for the warm reception that you gave to my FLOSSTUBE Extra introducing Kicking and Screaming Joey Forget About It. He was very gracious, and you wouldn't have known what a struggle it was to actually get him on camera. But there were so many kind comments that now he thinks he's a star, and I don't know what I'm going to do with him. He's a lot sometimes. But thank you to everyone who was so kind to him. He did not expect that, even though I tried to explain what a great community this is. He really needed to read it for himself, I guess you would say. So thank you all. Again, I apologize for being late, partially because I was working on a big finish that I was determined to get done, partially because I was sick for literally 14 days. Very hard to get ready for Thanksgiving that you're cooking for the family when you're sick. And we made the decision this year, if you could see, to decorate for Christmas ahead of Thanksgiving. I was a staunch, not until Black Friday does it become the Christmas season. 4 years, forever and ever. I have now decided, I actually decided last year, the season is so short because Christmas is coming Thanksgiving is coming so late in November, almost as late as it possibly can, that the Christmas season, the holiday season, really is not even 30 days. So that's a lot, to get down the fall stuff and put up the Christmas stuff and do all the things. So last year, because it was so crazy, I said, why don't we decorate leading into Thanksgiving? So when everyone comes over the house, except for the tree, because we buy our tree fresh, everything but the tree will be up. And then this way, that's all done. Didn't anticipate the little kerfluffle of what I believe was COVID. I never went to the doctor because every day was an improvement. But that fatigue is real, and I remember the one time I did have COVID, that was probably as exhausted as I've ever been, and I kind of felt that way. So it was probably COVID. Somehow, we still got it all done. So that was pretty amazing. But, so now I'm a little late. Instead of being mid-November, even though I didn't really have anything to show you, we are December 2nd. So let's get moving. 4.5 minutes in. I'm trying to make this a little faster. Here's our agenda. I have 5 whips from November, still with others on the list, and now we're in December, so they will become whips for December. I have 2 past finishes that the more I think about it, the more I think I showed you. They're just little but I'll show you anyway. One big new finish that explains why I had nothing else to show you in October. I have one new start. I have one Jingle Ball pre-stitch. Jingle Ball pre-stitch. Which I did not think I was going to pre-stitch. I was sort of like, nah, I'll just watch the class and then I'll go back. I had time, so I did it. I have a little bit of haul. Then we'll do who I'm watching, what FLOSSTUBERs, what I'm binging on TV, what I'm reading, and it's the little things, and then just one or two little comments at the end, and maybe a little help, but you'll see. So, I'm looking down at my notes, as always. So let's get started with the whips. Again, there are only 5. And the first one is Cabin View, Dimensions Gold Collection, Petite my foot. There's a lot of stitching in this. There is a lot of stitching in this, but it's very pretty. And I am just about there. Sorry, my phone is ringing, of course. I am just about finished. See, you can almost hardly see what I have left. But the back stitching, unless I hang it up about 45 feet from anybody, where anybody could get any closer, there was a lot of back stitching going into this. So, I made some really good progress, though. I kind of got through the door, a little bit left in there, and let's try it so you can say it. Worked all in here. I have a little bit left here. I have a little bit left here, and then we go on to back stitching. So my goal with this will be the next time it comes up, which will probably be spring, as hard as that is to believe, I'm going to finish the design, and then we'll leave the back stitching for another day. So one thing I didn't do was leave myself room to put the items I've already shown you. Okay, second, Cross Stitch Art, Sandy Littlejohns and Deborah Lester, a summer ball. And if you've been with me, you know that it was a search for me to find this. And I changed pretty much all the colors in the women's dresses. I thought the colors were very pale, and I understand that part of it's the photo, but not all of it's the photo, because I have seen it stitched, and the dresses are very pale, as may be for the time, not my time. So, and this is how far I've gotten. I really made quite a little bit of progress. You can almost see that fireplace. And that's the end. Like, this is the end. You're never going to see this whole fireplace. It's a lot of wall. It's a lot of wall. But I like it. It's full coverage. And I stitched this. What am I stitching this on? 20 Count Ivory Ada by Zweigart. And I started this a little more than a year ago. 11/12/24. And the last time it came up, not this time, but the last time, I was kind of in the middle of a few things, and I gave it no time. So this time I tried to make a little visual progress. Okay, next, we all know it, Pandemic Long Dog Samplers. Feel like I'm never gonna get this one done, which may be true. I started this sometime in 2020. It was a freebie when I got it, because they did put it up for free during the pandemic. And it is stitched on, I think it's an 18 count. Looks to me like it's an 18 count Zweigart of unknown color. Let's go with a gray. It is a gray, but let's go with gray. I have no idea. For some reason, this is the only one I don't have a card on. And I'm stitching it with Sulky, as you could see. But I think it's Sulky Holiday. But then I'm adding in solid DMC colors to kind of match. And this is where I worked. I worked all up in here the last time I worked on it. So I'm I'm almost at a page finish. I have to finish filling that in, crossing it over. But I'm almost, you know, almost there. So I feel like the next time that comes up, that will also get some progress. You know how your whips go in cycles, right? Like it seems like nothing's happening, and then you pick something up and you get a page finish, and then the next thing you pick up, you get, I don't know, a color completion or whatever it is. And that's kind of where I feel like I'm getting on some of these right now, which is good. This one included. This is Birdsong Garden, Marty Bell. I love the colors in this, I really do. And this is where I've gotten to. And as you can see, I'm almost on the second page. Okay, not almost. Getting done the second page. But I filled in all up there, and I did this really dark, it's not black, it's green. I think it's 934, if I'm not mistaken, DMC. This also has backstitch in it. So I'm going to hit a stage with these whips where it's going to be just the misery of backstitch. Oops. Sorry, I turned my TV on by accident because my whips went onto the remote. Kind of had a feeling that would happen. Okay, and last but not least is, and I honest to God do not know where this came from, and you would think on page 1 they would put their names. It's a stained glass bookmark, and I have the plastic sleeves for it to go in, and I had a lot of trouble. Right, I'm doing it on perforated paper so it will slide into the sleeve, but I had a lot of trouble getting this design, and I bought 3 different designs, I think, or 4. I had a lot of trouble getting this design to fit on a bookmark that will fit in the sleeves that are the normal size sleeves for a bookmark. So you'll see. So all I did, we went to Vegas for a Joey Forget About It work trip again. We went in May, and now we went in October. And I just did this on the plane because it's about as mindless as you can get. And so that is to, I was going to say that's to the bottom, but maybe it's not. It's not to the bottom of the design, but it's to the bottom. It's in 2 pages, the pattern. So that's it, but it was an easy thing to take on the plane, so I did, and I did nothing, or very little. Okay, next, I told you I was going to have a new start. Once I finished Joey Forget About It's super secret project, which I did, which you will see. And the new start is Sunflower Inn, adapted from artwork by Thomas Wood, charted by Artisy. I'm sorry, there's a glare on this plastic, but I had to turn the overhead recess lights on so that you could even see me. Otherwise I would be in the dark and you wouldn't be able to see anything. I love this one. This was on my wish list forever, and that was my reward for finishing the Joey Forget About It project. And this is where I got it. Not really anywhere. A lot of sky. A little bit of sky. So I started this. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Birdsong Garden is on 18 count Arial by Picture This Plus, started July 17th, 2023. This is stitched on 18 count Platinum Ada by Zweigart, started November 12th, 2025. So I literally really did just start it. Okay, next is the Jingle Ball pre-stitching. So this is the class I opted to take. And this is Christmas Snow Globes by Hello from Liz Matthews. I just love this because last year, if you were with me last year, you remember that I was attempting to do a snow globe for my daughter's Christmas tree in the first year of her very own house. And the design I picked turned out to be way too big to make into a snow globe. So I turned it into like a round ornament. But these just spoke to me. and she gives you, I don't have it here, she gives you like 21 choices, and what she basically tells you, the instructions for pre-stitching, and I just got the PDF, I didn't have her ship the kit. She tells you to pick a small, a medium, and a large to go in your jar. In whatever order you want of these 20-something options, you can stitch any, but she really recommends a small, a medium, and a large. She said sometimes you can fit 4 in a jar. Obviously, it would be either 2 smalls or a small and 2 mediums, but you would never fit 2 larges. So, and she even gives them to you on the chart. Like the chart pages are, these are all the small ornaments, all on one page. These are all the medium ornaments, all on one page. I mean, it's could not be simpler or more comprehensive, and all you had to do was pick. So these are the ones that I picked. Sorry for that, this is crunchy. She literally said either 28 count or 16 count. So this is 16 count white Aida, and it can be a little stiff because it's got to get cut out and turned into however that's going to turn into that. There were a whole list of supplies to buy. But I opted to go with the large Christmas tree, which I did as charted with all the colors. The medium house, as opposed to, so you can see the houses right here, small, medium, large. I just changed my, this is the medium house. I changed that to the color of the large house because of this giant Christmas tree. I didn't need green, you know. So it's the large tree, and there were like 3 tree options as well. I mean, she really thought it through. She put a reindeer in, she put a bunny in. I'm just not gonna put a bunny in a Christmas design, so it was never gonna be that. She has like Mary, she has 25. I picked Joy as my small. So small, medium, large. And Joy was charted in black. I decided a little bit of Christmas red was a good idea. So you could do anything with them, and that's the thing. Like, these are just examples that she gave, but they could be anything. There are endless possibilities, and that was kind of her point. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping I'll be able that weekend to watch the class live, as opposed to having to go back. You get 30 days. So if you haven't signed up for this and this interests you, definitely sign up for it. And she's teaching it twice. She's teaching it once on Jingle Ball Saturday and once on Jingle Ball Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to it. And the fact that I did the pre-stitching, I mean, could we just get a round of applause for that? Because I am not that person. I am I'll watch it, you know, after it's recorded, and I'll stress out over it, but I'll still get it done. So this time I am ready. I'm ready to sit there and follow Liz as she moves along in her project. Okay, so 2 past finishes. I feel like I showed these to you because I did have a floss tube last year. November, Country Cottage Needleworks, stitched on 14 count lamb's wool, Cottage of the Month, November, and I just back them with magnets and put them on a board. I've shown you this countless times. And December. And this is a Marty Bell right here. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called. But it's Marty Bell. I've had it for many years. I know I've shown it to you up close before, but I just loved it. And that is not where it used to hang. It used to hang in my living room, like next to I have a roll top desk. But unless you were sitting at the roll top desk or leaning on the wall that it's on, no one ever saw it. So last year I decided 'twas the season to put it where it could be appreciated. And I will say on Thanksgiving, my daughter was kind of like showing her boyfriend a lot of my cross stitch, and Christmas, obviously, I have the most. So I thought that was very cute. It's a shame she's going to give it all to Goodwill when I'm no longer here. If you're watching, Natty, love you. Just kidding. I know you'll take everything. Okay, so the big finish. Finished and framed, my friends. I finished it, and what I'm talking about is the big Joey Forget About It project. 99 by ink circles, 99 bottles of beer. I think I had it finished by the early in November, maybe the third day. I must have, because I was sick from like the middle of November, and it was already at the framers. So I just have to step off camera for a minute. I was going to put it at my feet, but I was afraid I was going to kick it, and I can't break it before he's even already seen it. And it's very heavy. So, hold on. I don't even think I'm going to be able to get this all in, but we're going to try. $99. Done and dusted. That is 99 bottles of beer. This is done on Vintage Country. No, it is not. It is done on Picture This Plus Ale, I think. Framed by Michaels. It's so... This isn't even coming close to what this actually looks like in person. But you could see how high this is. This is probably 2.5 feet. But I am gloriously happy that this is finished. And the irony about this, I'm sorry, I have to put this down. The irony of this is, I'm back. That when I went to my craft meetup group, which by the way is now at Panera Bread in Cherry Hill, if you're local, because the pop shop closed down in Collingswood. When I went to that meetup at the beginning of November, they were, you know, we sat down and they were like, Deb, where are the bottles? What happened? Did you give up? I said, give up? I finished it, and it's at Michael's being framed. Nobody could believe it. I have been working on this since 2019, and it probably took me most of those years and most of this year to get to like bottle 63 or something like that. And the rest, I just zipped through because I told you I figured out kind of a process. But in case you can't tell, the frame is a gold brown with kind of like a brown gold black around it. And then I got a maroonish matte that literally matches the shelf color that goes across holding the bottles. I mean, the match could not have been more perfect. So hopefully Joey Forget About It doesn't come home. He's texting me, and he's local today. He's on the road and he's local, so he better not show up. If he does, you'll hear me scream, and he'll probably think I'm having a heart attack or something. I don't know. So that's my big finish. That is why. So the last time I filmed was like mid-October. That took me through to finishing all of those whips that were really September's whips. And then I decided that the best thing I could do was just stick with this for however long it took, and it literally took the rest of the month of October, but I did get it done. So that's why I had really nothing to show. So that brings me to plans. Plans are this. I'm going to do like very close, near plans between now and the next time I see you. My next floss tube will be a whip parade. I did my whip parade September of 2024. That was my first floss tube. And I will do one probably the week between Christmas and New Year's. I'm compiling all of the screenshots, and then I have to figure out how to edit them in. Not a problem. It'll just take me a little longer than it takes most people to figure it out. But I'll do screenshots of where it was. So if you're If you're a perfectionist, it's been a little more than a year. If you're not, it's here's where they were in 2024, here's where they are in 2025. And I feel like I made some progress. I feel like I had a few finishes, and that will be my next floss tube. It will be a whip parade at the end of December, if all goes well. That's my plan. So, okay. Let's talk about who I'm watching. There are a bunch of people. And this is an October, November watching. And believe me, there are more, but sometimes I'm in the middle of stitching and it's hard to get out the pad of paper that sits in with all my stuff and write it down. So I always say, I'm gonna remember. Oh, that was a good one, I'm gonna remember. And I don't. So these are the people that I watched October, November, and actually stopped to write down. So Nicole Spohr, I've watched her before, but I specifically watched her Halloween finishes floss tube. I don't know what number it was. Let's go with it was sometime in October. There were a lot of them. And she stitches beautifully, as I'm sure you all know. I know she has a really big fan base. Next, Flossabilities. She is a UK designer. I love that she stitches things that she doesn't design. There was a lot of that, but she showed, or there is a new design, and I'm sure you've all seen it because I've seen it. Several floss tubers have specifically mentioned this, called Christmas Town. Absolutely beautiful. Really, really, really nice. So go check that out. One of the OGs, Teresa Little Stitcher. I love her. She's a hoot. I love that she exists in chaos like I do. You know, some of her floss tubes are very organized and very, you know, and some are, she'll fly by the seat of her pants. She'll tell you that. And that's great too. And she stitches beautifully. And I've always watched her, probably since before the pandemic. So, or maybe started during the pandemic. Mama Bear Stitches. I feel like I mentioned her before for some other finish that she had. But this is a Lanarte design. It's some kind of lady, like reminiscent lady, or lady reminisces or something. And it's her finish. Wow. I don't even do the fancy ladies. I will probably never do a fancy lady. But, wow. Go back and look for that one. Again, I'm going back, so this could be end of September, October. It would not have been November, probably. Potty Mouth Stitcher, I think her name is Heidi. She did a whip parade, and I don't know if that was an old whip parade. It just came up, and that was, she does a lot of really cool things. And then the last one that I actually remembered to write down, Mischievous Stitches, finish on, it's not called finish on, it's a finish for the design Christmas Manor. And I wrote literally, finish on Christmas Manor, wow. I honestly can't remember it right now, but I remember that if I write wow, I mean, we all see a lot of finishes and everybody does beautiful work and they're all great, or we wouldn't even do this if we weren't convinced that they were all going to come out really nice. But sometimes you just go like, wow. And that was one of those finishes. Okay, next, haul. Okay. So, I was part of Rogue Fabrics, Fabric of the Month, and I did every other month. So, this was the October month. 18 count Aida, and the color is pear. So let me show you first. It's hard to see. Pear, it's green, but there's some problems. So looks like somebody may have spilled their coffee or this is doing it no justice. Let's just say this. It's a very, very pale green, and it, honest to God, looks like somebody was drinking their coffee at the same time that they were pulling this out of the dyeing process. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that's what it looks like. And I was very disappointed. Like, there's like a big stain right here that weirdly is very circular. I don't know if you could see it, like right here. Like maybe somebody put a coffee cup down on it. I don't know. Did they? I don't know. But it was very disappointing because if I do a full coverage on this, it will be fine. But I would have to find a full coverage to do on this piece of fabric. And it's a shame because it's a very light green and I'm very happy with the color it's supposed to be. But something went wrong. So unless it's supposed to have yellow-brown stains in it, and if so, then it's not just a pear, but it's a rotting pear, and, you know, whatever. And I reached out to them just to say, like, hey, I don't know if this is a bad piece or what, and they did not respond, so I don't know. I'm going to take a break from that Fabric of the Month Club, though, mainly because, not because of that, because people make mistakes or things happen, but mainly because the colors are very, very neutral. Like, they're like two blues and a light gray, and, you know, I don't need any more of those, so I have enough. If I joined another Fabric of the Month club, I would probably try and find one where the colors were more bold. I know they try to appeal to the masses, but, you know. Okay. Just cross stitch Christmas issue. I did not bring that with me. It's somewhere in the house. It's probably sitting on my coffee table. I haven't really had a big chance to go through it, and I kind of felt, tell me if I'm wrong, I kind of felt like we didn't have a lot of time, right? Like, I feel like the Halloween issue came out in the middle of summer vacation, and yet the Christmas issue comes out, it might have been Halloween week or maybe the first week in November. I feel like that's not necessarily a lot of time because obviously the big gift giving times are Christmas and ornaments and, you know, whatever. So I haven't really had time to look through it. I've seen people showing projects they're going to do out of that magazine, so maybe this afternoon I'll sit down and go through it. But that did come in somewhere between the time that I filmed my last floss tube, which was mid-October, and probably the first week of November. And then I pulled the trigger. I think I talked to you about this. And I pulled the trigger on Erin Elizabeth's USA tier. And as you know, I got a Valentine's tier that I'm going to start in January. And I saw this, and I mean, to commemorate our country's 250th birthday, I would love to do something much more complex than this, but in the essence of being able to commemorate it in the short span of time that I now have to commemorate it, I feel like my Let Freedom Ring by Leela Studios, that very much commemorates it. That will never be done by July of 2026. So I wanted something, and I really liked this. I thought it was straight to the point, lovely. I'm not a big red, white, and blue stitching color fan. I did Primrose Cottage. I did one of theirs, red, white, and blue, and while I loved it, how it came out, and I loved the pattern, and the pattern was really easy to see, by the time I was done, I was really, really, really over red, white, and blue. So, and that makes me think of something. I also have Honest Abe Lincoln, Founding Fathers, and I'm working on the First Thanksgiving, all by Twin Peak Primitives, all again commemorating America. I live right outside of Philly. It's near and dear to my heart. But I just needed something that was going to be kind of a quick stitch. So it's going to be Erin Elizabeth, and it is going to be stitched on 18 count Oracle. This, you are not seeing what it is. It is a mottled gray. I thought red, white, and blue would really pop. It looks like they have it on like a beigey. I just wanted a gray. It's kind of coming blue. It's not blue, it's very gray. Let me see. Nope, that's not working either. So it's a light gray. It may even have like a tiny hint of bluish purple in it. I was a little concerned because this looks a little small, right? But that's what it calls for. That's the size that it called for. So I'm just trying to see if it tells you what it's stitched on. It did on 1, 2, 3 stitch or wherever I got it. So can't wait. Can't wait to start that in the warmer weather. Let's get through the winter. For those of you that don't like the winter, I don't mind. I love 4 seasons. That is why I will probably always be Northeast coast of the United States. I love my change of seasons. I embrace every single season. I will say, however, fall is my favorite. But I love them all for different reasons, right? Like, I love fall because it's just beautiful and colorful, and it's, you know, here come the holidays kind of thing. I love winter because we all need to hibernate a little. And the older I get, the more I need to hibernate. I love spring because we're busting out by then, right? We're ready to get out and do things and be more active. And then summer for the obvious reason, because it's summer and it's fun and there's all the things to do. So I love all the seasons, but I will not probably start that USA tier until I have found in the last few months, you know, we always learn something about ourselves. I found that I work best pushed a little to the wall. If I started that now, it still would not get finished till June. If I started in May, it will be finished in June. So that's just who I am. And I know that about myself professionally. I'm not a procrastinator, but I do know that when I need to sit down and focus and get something done, and I could have done it on Monday, but now it's Thursday, I can do it. So that will probably wait till like May, you know, mid-May. Okay, moving on. Next, book talk. So I only really have one. So I've listened to or read a few, but I feel like I don't need to necessarily tell you everything I read if I don't feel like I would recommend it, so I just won't. But I read The Book Club for Troublesome Women by Marie Bostwick. Forgive me if I already told you this. I don't think I did, but if I did, just bear with. The Book Club for Troublesome Women by Marie Bostwick. So the story centers around these 4 women from this neighborhood, this post-war neighborhood, who are 4 vastly different women, and somehow, even amidst the other women in the neighborhood, they find themselves drawn to each other, and they form like this kind of impromptu book club, but then become great, great, great friends. And the book club is formed around the reading of Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique. So the setting is the 1960s, the early 60s, because they do reference the assassination of President Kennedy. And it is a work of fiction, but it very much evokes the spirit of the early 60s. I was not born then. Hard to believe, right? But I wasn't. And it really gives you a sense of women were beginning to evolve. And it's kind of funny because if you think about it, by the late 60s and the, for lack of a better word, the hippie phase, like women were drastically different than they were just like 8 short years earlier. And these are those women that are starting to break out of the let me mop the kitchen floor for the third time this week mode, or every night there's an apple pie for dessert, or pecan crumble or something, because they spent all day cooking and baking. And these are women who want more for themselves, and it separates them from the rest of the neighborhood, who kind of are like perfectly content to live in their beautiful brand new homes and just do their thing. And they're not bashing that, but they're sort of saying, oh, thank goodness there are other women who think like I think, because I thought I was all alone. So it's a really, really good book. I'm a mystery reader. I am finding myself right now reading no mysteries. The other two, my audiobook is a mystery, but the other two books I'm reading, neither are mysteries. So who am I, right? Binge talk, we're gonna make that nice and short. All I've watched were Hallmark movies. It's only December 2nd, and I'm already a little tired of the Hallmark movies. I love them, and they're easy when I'm sitting in my office and I'm working. They're easy to have on the TV, because I'm not really paying attention, but I'm paying attention. It's just nice to have when you work at home, it's hard to be by yourself all the time and not talk. So it's nice to have that in the background. And really that's all we're watching. We're not even watching, like we have Murders in a Small Town. We watch Matlock. We watch High Potential. We watch Only Murders in the Building. There are a bunch of them that are episodic, but we wait until there's a few episodes and then we catch up. And we just literally have not. We just haven't. It's Hallmark all the way. And Joey Forget About It is a big, big fan. He was the one that started us on this Hallmark kick way early. Like, I don't know if you realize this, but I know for a fact that I watched a Hallmark movie on Halloween night. So every year they start a little earlier. And now, instead of just Hallmark and Hallmark Mysteries, I could think of 6 channels that play Christmas movies 24 hours a day. So if that's your thing, and it is my thing until it's not my thing, then I'm like, no more. Okay, we're almost there. It's the little things. What are the little things that you are grateful for? I greatly appreciate my subscribers and commenters, and I'm going to tell you what they said. Helen LaPierre Della Plante is grateful for her sister-in-law for being there when she really needed her. I think that's lovely, and I am sure if she told me that, she told her sister-in-law that, and that's really lovely. At Cynthia Kinnaman 7694, she is grateful for her job. She knows that she has a job, and it's a good job, and she likes it, and not everyone does. So that is what she's grateful for. At Iris Cope 6798, she is grateful that she is retired and has lots of time to stitch and read. Okay, Iris. We love you anyway, even though you just made us all jealous. That's great, though. That's what you want to do. You want to do what you want to do once you're retired. So good for you. But I am jealous. At Jan Brandt 3739, she is grateful for being physically able to go to the water parks with her grandchildren. I feel like that one came out. I may have said that one already, because I remember being like, you did what? I mean, just because you can, would you? I wouldn't. I'm not going to a water park. I'll go to the water park. I'll be the one holding all of the towels and stuff. I'm not going down those slides. But good for you, Jen. Okay, 2 other things. Last but not least, we kind of already covered the Jingle Ball. I am going to try really hard to be there. And last year, I think we were away, so I didn't even get a ticket. This year, I will be around. We go away the weekend after we go to the Finger Lakes for a couple of days. Finger Lakes, New York, it's wine country. And we rent a cabin on Cuca Lake, and the wineries are all open, and we just have a great time. And it's much less hustle and bustle. I mean, it is beautiful up there at all times of the year. December, of course, you run the risk that you're going to be driving in some snow, but Joey, forget about it's cool with that. So off we go. But I will be around for Jingle Ball Week. Last thing. So I won this monetary award at work. So I bought myself a Samsung tablet. I'm an iPad girl all the way. iPhone, iPad. But I bought a Samsung tablet. We all know why. For Pattern Keeper. I have no problem getting my patterns onto it. I have a huge problem getting it from the current tablet I'm using to the new tablet for the progress. Part of that is because I've watched, I don't know, 10 floss tubers. Every single person does it different. I'm not kidding you. Everybody gave me different advice watching their how to transfer. What works for one does not work for another. It's like the wild, wild west out there. Unfortunately, Pattern Keeper not only has not come out with one for iPad, but they also don't save your progress. So when you leave one device and go to another and you transfer everything, you have to kind of export it. So that's problem one. Problem two is the device I'm using was a freebie giveaway, if you can imagine giving away a tablet, right? So just imagine the quality of this tablet. It was a freebie giveaway at one of Joey Forget About It, some event, some beer event. It does not hold a charge. And now it's not even charging. So before I was able to leave it plugged in, and as long as I left it plugged in, it would work. So my problem now is if I'm bringing that up over here, I may have 5% battery life, and that is all. And that is not necessarily enough time to get the pattern's progress transferred over. So I have that problem. Tried a new charger, tried different chargers. That doesn't seem to help. I think I'm just going to have to, as my patterns come up that I use Pattern Keeper for, and luckily for me, it's not that many of them, but I bet you it's, I don't know, 6 maybe. I'm just going to have to transfer the progress myself, take the time and do that, and hope that I don't screw it up, because I literally have tried everything, and in the amount of time that I'm wasting trying to get this supersonic tablet or whatever it's called, just to stay charged long enough for me to do anything with it, I could have like marked all my progress. And page finishes are easy, right? So if it's a pattern where I've finished a page and haven't gone on, that's easy to catch up with the progress. It's the ones where I'm like in the middle of the page or whatever, but we'll figure it out. If anybody has any kind of a wonderful solution for me to get this, because clearly Pattern Keeper is on this one device and the device is having trouble. So it's almost like I'm starting over on this new Samsung tablet. So if you got any ideas, please let me know, because I would appreciate it. I have watched a lot of YouTube videos about it, a lot. And again, let me just say, everyone does it differently. Everybody does. So I think that was everything. I needed your advice on that. We went through the whips, plans, my new start, my big Joey Forget About It finish. Again, thank you for being so kind to him. He loved hearing the comments. they made him chuckle, and he was like, wow, everybody's so nice. And I'm like, yeah, it's not like the real world. Everybody is nice in the cross-stitch community. So I appreciate you being here. We are at 50 minutes, and we're going to call it. And I'm about 10 minutes past where I wanted to be. So thanks for staying with, if you've stayed with. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, and thanks for being patient. I did not disappear off the face of the earth. It was just a few things that needed to be taken care of. And I will see you at the end of December with a whip parade. Bye.